The title for my movie is Sniper Specialist Redemption. The genre is action, war and drama. The reason I chose these three genres is due to the fact that they simply work with each other. Having all these three genres makes the film dramatic with all the action scenes that are in the movie. The theme for the film is going to be redemption. The reason for this is that the film is going to be heavily around army and uniformed services. Therefore, the title Redemption realises that everything in the past is going to come back to haunt you eventually. The beginning of my movie is going to start with a little boy in a garden, and he's going to be running around, and it's slowly going to move towards him growing up and him standing next to his father. There's going to be a transition scene where the photo of him and his father is going to be switched to where he's standing where the young man is standing next to his dad in his uniform, sending him away to the army. The middle of my film is going to be quite a lot of action. There's going to be two friends, they used to be friends, and they're going to be going head to head against each other due to the fact that what happens in the movie really gives them spite towards each other. The ending is going to involve one of the main characters going home to his wife, and his wife is going to be pregnant with a newborn, and they're going to be holding a family photo and with the new baby, and there's going to be a cliffhanger ending where you see a photo of the family. It's going to zoom out, and during that zoom out there's going to be a transition where it switches into sort of a camera lens. That way it's going to show that someone is watching them for some sort of reason, and then that's going to be the cliffhanger. The synopsis for my movie is British-born sniper specialist Andy Lance has an unexpected mission which begins on tour. Throughout his time in the army, he has learned a thing or two about protection, friendships, brotherhood and loyalty. Despite the grave danger, he is never afraid to be a one person willing to go out of his way to protect his wife and family from anything that becomes a threat. However, when he returns home, he struggles to come to grips with the fact that he has suffered so much emotional pain, realising that leaving the war behind is much harder than he thought. The unique selling point for my film is the fact that the storyline is very realistic and incomparable to other films that are similar to the storyline. There is going to be a lot of backstory, and there are going to be things in the film which make the intensity of the situations very iconic. There are also going to be some special effects such as bullets thrown through the air in slow motion, and showing which direction they're going in to amaze the audience with special effects. The film is going to premiere in cinema. However, after a few months of it being released in cinema, it's going to be moved on to Netflix and then DVD and so on from there. The running time for my film is going to be between 90 to 100 minutes, which is average for a war film. This is going to be intended so the audience doesn't get bored, but there's also enough time for the storyline to play through. There are going to be four main characters for this film, and they are going to be Corporal Lance, who is the main protagonist, and he is the main character who at the beginning of the film is the little boy that slowly grows up standing next to his father. Captain Abdul Inkro is going to be the main villain, and he has a past history with Corporal Lance, and that's what's going to feed the main storyline. Corporal Simpson is the second antagonist of the film. He is good friends and he's known Corporal Lance since childhood. However, something in the past is going to be the reason and the factor that they have all these arguments and run-ins with each other, and therefore creating the main storyline. Becky is going to be Corporal Lance's wife. She's just the average stay at home, help the kids do the work, and everyone's going to be intrigued with what major plot point she has in the film. The suggested cast for the list is Bradley Cooper to play Corporal Lance. The reason I think that he is the best choice is through his dedication to roles in films. He's also played army roles in the past, therefore he's known for what he's doing in film. Jennifer Lawrence as Becky, as she has played a very iconic character throughout many films, and she is a very good actor. Amir Khan, the reason for this is to play Captain Abdul Inkro, and the reason for that is because he's played villains in the past, and his work is just outstanding compared to any other one else. Luke Grimes for the role of Corporal Simpson. The reason for this is he's also played with Bradley Cooper in army films, therefore they have a connection and they know a way to emotionally go to each other and attack each other in the film. The reason I believe that all of these actors would be willing to feature in my film is due to their dedication and love for their roles and the characters that I'm going to be giving them in the film. Like I said, Bradley Cooper and Luke Grimes have previously worked and have connections in films, which means that they'd be willing to work with detailed performances, and that's why I want them in the same cast. My target audience for this film is aimed towards 20 to 40 year olds. The reason for having a more older age for the target audience is due to the fact that most people in the army are aged between 21 and 35. Therefore, this age range fills that gap, giving them a few years before and after the army. The class for the target audience is going to be a variety of lower, upper and middle class. However, the majority is going to be the middle class. My target audience is not specifically aimed towards any ethnicity particular. However, MENA, which is the Arab world, Middle East and North Africa, is going to be the main focus for the antagonists, and white American and European American are going to be the focus for the ethnicity for the protagonists. The budget for this film is going to be £65 million. Story rights are going to have £2.5 million. Screenplay, £1.5 million. The director is going to be £5 million. Producers, £6 million. Cast, £20 million. The reason the cast is so high is due to the amount of high-class, A-class actors. Production cost, £18 million. Post-production cost, £2 million. Visual effects, 1.5. Music, 1. Editing, 2. Extras, 2.5. 2,500. And the rest of the cast, stunts, travel, that's going to be £4 million, which comes to a total of £61,950,000, which is under the budget. The production schedule is going to cast of 10 weeks. These are going to be heavily separated with pre-production, production and post-production. The first 4 weeks being pre-production, production being 4 weeks, and post-production being 4.5 weeks. My contingency plans are, if the crew is being late, each person is going to meet up at a specific location and time, which everyone in the cast has agreed with. The actors and crew will be aware of the location and travel given if needed. Battery running out of camera. The cameras are going to be fully checked before filming and are going to be left on charge every time they aren't used. There is going to be someone in charge of this to make sure. High numbers of spare batteries and spare equipment for the cameras are going to be brought along. Continuity problems. There is going to be a specific cameraman on every shoot of the day and given a task of taking photos of each character's position, makeup, clothing, their stance, just to make sure that their continuity is perfect throughout the film. Legal issues. Intellectual property. This isn't going to be an issue as my film comes and I've required all the relevant property with anyone in the ownership to make it my own film. Copyright is not going to be an issue as anything in filmed is shot. All the legal paperwork is done, given the full rights to me to shoot anything which could be classed as copyright. Filming permissions is not going to be a worry when it comes to filming. This is because there aren't going to be too many scenes involving a crowd or non-actors. There are only going to be extras which are already going to be pre-casted. Ethical issues include gender, religious beliefs and sexual orientation. Gender isn't going to be an issue as there's masses of different females and males throughout the cast, extras or main characters. Religious beliefs, they're not going to be a worry as nothing offensive or there's going to be nothing directed towards anyone in a negative way, negative manner, and there's not going to be a heavy amount of swearing towards anyone specifically. Sexual orientation isn't going to be an issue as there are going to be no sort of insults towards any kind of female or male regardless of the situation. Classification. My film is going to be rated 15 by the BBFC. The reason for this age rating is due to the fact that the film includes strong language, violence and threatening scenes. The BBFC has been rating age films since 1912 when it was established by the film industry. Other war films have been rated the same, therefore that's the reason I went for 15. The reason it won't be 18 is due to the fact that there's not going to be a load of nudity, no drug misuse or anything similar. My script begins with the little boy running around the garden. There's going to be a little montage where he runs around the garden in army uniform. The army uniform is going to be baggy and it's going to represent him growing into it. It's then going to go into the camp HQ, which is in the middle of a desert. The heat is going to be simmering over the hills and the hot sand moving towards an establishing shot of the camp. A long shot of the sniper lookout tower, where the camera is going to slowly move into the scope, and it's going to reveal the sniper looking and laughing with his friends. The camera is going to go back down the sniper scope, revealing that there's going to be people in vehicles coming over the hill and through the distance that shouldn't be there. This is going to trigger everyone in the camp. There's going to be an alarm set off, and everyone's going to move into their positions with their loadouts and weapons, all ready to come under attack. It's going to go quiet for a minute, and there's going to be 2 jets starting to be heard in the distance. Corporal Lance and Corporal Simpson are going to be asking each other if they are the ones who called in the F-15s, and they're going to say no, and then everything's going to go black screen when the camp starts to get bombed by these planes. This is where Captain Abdul Inkro is introduced, and he is going to be pointing a gun towards Corporal Simpson's head, where Corporal Lance is waking up, blurred vision, and just sees this, and in slow motion and distorted sound effects is where Corporal Simpson is going to be supposedly shot in the head, making Corporal Lance emotionally attached and wanting revenge, hence the reason the title is called Redemption. And then Corporal Abdul Inkro is going to ask, or say to Corporal Lance, that he needs to come with him. That's where it's going to go black screen, and that's when the title card is going to appear. The costume design and sample clothing is going to be simple military for Corporal Lance and Corporal Simpson. Yellow sort of camouflage, as that's the main theme for the clothing. Captain Abdul Inkro is going to be in more of a darker, more English sort of army uniform, where it's more darker green, and the rest of the cast who are in the base are also going to be the same sample clothing as Corporal Lance and Corporal Simpson. The location recce is going to be in the middle of a desert, and the reason for this is because that's where I want the camp HQ. The sun is going to be moving throughout the time of the shoot, which is okay because it's going to make the shoot more realistic, showing that time's going to move on. Problems I might face with the location is the equipment might fail due to the heat, and the way I'm going to resolve these problems is having backup equipment and having some sort of heat cover protection to make sure the cameras and stuff don't fail. The cast might become unwell due to the heat. All of their allergies and known reasons that they might get ill are obviously going to be listed, and there's going to be plenty of food, water and medical attention set. Props might break, which shouldn't really be a reason as there's not going to be too many props. Most items are going to be brought and they're going to be real, therefore that most things aren't going to be needed to be fixed throughout the shoot.